Listen, I'm always getting DMs about, new artists who trying to figure out like how they could get on, how they could make money and all that, marketing, all that stuff. And I got my guy who is a legend in the game. If you don't know, now you're going to know.
My name is Factz. I'm from the Bronx, New York. Check it, the paper chaser, the money saver, the TD Ameritrader, the Robin Hood hater, the home bidder, the 25% grown tipper, the Grant Cardone listener, the loan flipper. The process to getting a record deal at that time was interesting. As an artist, that was the finish line. Yeah. But in reality, that's just you're just now starting. When you hear someone on the radio, it's not just because of the talent that they have. There's money that goes into this artist that you hear on the radio on a consistent basis. You have to always just go hard in whatever it is that you do. I know so many entrepreneurs and so many people who took that leap of faith, but they were dead serious about what they wanted to do. They knew that they can't slack. Every day, every minute, every DM, every message, every comment means something. It is a potential business transaction. You have to treat it as such.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ask Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. you see him, we change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprints of wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Listen, I'm always getting DMs about, new artists who trying to figure out like how they could get on, how they could make money and all that, marketing, all that stuff. And I got my guy who is a legend in the game. If you don't know, now you're going to know, who's been in the game for a very long time. And he is a true testament to like, you don't even have to have 1 million followers. You don't have to do none of that in order to be able to monetize your gift, monetize your craft. Matter of fact, Mick, just talk to him real quick.
Listen, man, it's Factz, and before we even get into any of that stuff about getting to the bag and getting the money, you the homie. I've known you for a very long time. Yes, I couldn't come here without giving you some bars, you know what I'm saying? So
gold bars.
Some gold bars, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna lace it up quick. What up, Biz? Let's get right into this, man. Look, base your eyes on the guy that has no worries about the lies. I'm focused on the prize. Doubting me, get out my way. Haters get left in the wild way, the do or die way. Check it, the paper chaser, the money saver, the TD Ameritrader, the Robin Hood hater, the home bidder, the 25% grown tipper, the Grant Cardone listener, the loan flipper, the contract getter, the check collector, the debt oppressor, the Turo user who worked as Tesla, the stock watcher, the options copper, the block shopper, the future yacht docker, the car lot plotter, the business owner, the deal closer, the long-term holder, the mortgage broker, the published author, consultant caller, the clubhouse talker, the black supporter, the finance martyr, the song seller, the Bitcoin investor, the ledger checker, the credit union lender, the Wall Street trapper, the black small business backer, the 5-year planner, the crypto tracker, the debit master, the brand ambassador, kitty credit manager, country traveler, the brand resume handler, the back creditor, the last will and testament editor, the brash embezzler, the cash messenger, the script writer, the individual 401k insider, the put striker, the bread earner, the rap Ted Turner, the black dollar networker. I'm studying the best mergers, the ownership advocate, experienced panelist, the market analyst, $1 million catalyst, the fundraiser, the crowdfunder, the only one patient when the Dow's under, the proud hustler, the ad sponsorer, the multi-class conqueror, the masterclass marketer, the bag philosopher, the mass conjurer of future planning, the super branded exclusive handling, the publishing recouping champion, the vacation taker, the great debater, the wage payer with pay waivers, the playmaker, the thankful banker, trader, insane anchor, the stage curator, the paint creator, the art buyer, the stock market chart climber, the smart rhymer, the Damon Jones shark hire, Wait a minute, to earn your leisure, who don't get greedier, but serves the media with purpose speedier than Expedia, the one-way ticket purchaser, the index mutual fund nurturer, the opposite of forfeiture, the avid reader, the master thinker, the liability avoider, the asset teacher, the hedge funder, the head hunter, the blueprinter, the talk you off the ledge jumper, the tech hustler, the tax shifter, the IPOer, the Warren Buffett molder, the Vanguard controller, the equity financer. I don't need to practice getting money, I'm the answer. The AI stanza, the finance advisor, the 007 bond buyer, the life insurer, the boss writer, you can spot fraud detection, ascension. I'm all about the capital, insurrection, the digit angel, the $1 million symbol angel, the 18-wheeler copper. Welcome to the dinner table.
Hey, my God.
What's good?
God.
What's good?
What's up? What's up?
That's how you enter a show.
Yeah, that's how you enter the show. That's how you start a show. That's how you, listen, that's how you let people know you got bars and you serious and you making this happen, brother. Man, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this. I appreciate you and definitely allowing us to, let our people know who they about to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody say they got flows, everybody say they got bars. And I think this is important because there's a lot of people, out there who, everybody wanna be an artist. Everybody wanna rap. Right. And some people do it because they chasing the paper. Some people do it because they really love the craft. I know you really love the craft, right. And you were really able to get to a space where you've been able to monetize for a very long time, over a decade in the game, yeah. And you've been able to monetize it. For those who don't know, kind of run your resume a little bit, kind of let people know, like who is Mickey Factz?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for that intro, Ash. Yes, my name is Mickey Factz. I'm from the Bronx, New York. My resume, I've had 3 record deals, one with Jive, one with RCA, one with Universal, Grammy nominated for some ghostwriting stuff that I done did, BET Cyphers, MTV, Video Jams of the Week, millions of views on YouTube, worked with everybody that you could potentially think of, from Drake to Kid Cudi and Lil Wayne, Kanye West. Also covered XXL. I'm a freshman alumni, you know what I'm saying? I could just run my accolades down forever and ever and ever, but just know that I'm an accomplished man who's still trying to, reach the top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Are you a coach, consultant, service provider, course creator, or expert that wants more clients to happily pay you $3K to $10K for your programs and services? If you answered yes, I have a special gift for you. It's from my guy, Marquell Russell, and it's called the Paid Ad Playbook, which shows you how to actually get 50 to 100 leads every single day that actually convert into clients. Marquell, he's used the same process to help clients create over $250 million in revenue. And this is more than $250 million. You heard me right. Some of the top influencers, coaches, and consultants in the world have used Marquell strategies to build multi-million-dollar businesses, and they still use them on a daily basis. And the cool thing is that this works for you even if nobody knows who you are. So to get free access, go to InsideTheVaultGift.com or text VAULT to 904-447-5274. Again, that's InsideTheVaultGift.com or text VAULT to 904-447-5274. My guy's going to take care of you. Let him know that Ash Cash sent you. Yep. No, I appreciate that. And I think that one of the things that I appreciate the most is, number one, your ability to not only be a lyricist, right? Because I mean, for me, as a 90s baby, right? I appreciate lyrics, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So I appreciate lyrics and bars. But then not only just that, but also, the fact that you've been able to monetize because, if you love something, but you're not making money from it, now that becomes a hobby, right? You really, you could be passionate about it, but, can you mix the passion with your paycheck? And so talk to us a little bit first about the craft, right? At what point did you, like how did you become a lyricist? Is it something that you just woke up, you know what I mean, you heard some Big Daddy Kane and was like, yo, I want to rap now? Like give me that story.
It's exactly what you just said.
Factz.
I heard Big Daddy Kane and I wanted to rap.
Salute.
You know what I'm saying? So, Ash, he does his homework. For me, hearing Kane, I'm a Bronx MC, but he's from Brooklyn. Hearing him, I was like, I want to be like him. He was cool. He got the women and he was nice lyrically. So I've been honing my skills ever since I first heard him back in like 8, 9. I was only like maybe 9 years old, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, this guy's incredible. I want to be like him. So obviously I put over 10,000 hours in, you know what I'm saying? I put a lot of hours in to be able to be where I am currently. And that's why I'm able to just kind of, do this stuff effortlessly when it's like, yo, it's time for you to rap. It's like, all right, let's just get it going so you guys can understand what it is that I do. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And then like now, all the 10,000 hours had culminated, how did it feel? Or when was the first time that you felt like, yo, I made it? Like, people are recognizing like, yo, I'm at this particular level.
I think it was the call for the XXL freshman cover. You know, at that time, they only did one before us. That was the one with Lupe on it.
Yeah.
And when I got that call, I was floored because I didn't think that people was gonna put me on that cover, but when I made that cover, it was like, whoa. And then after that, I did that Honda commercial.
Yep. And who was on that class with you?
It was me, Wale, Charles Hamilton, Kid Cudi, Asher Roth, B.O.B., Corey Guns, Currency, Ace Hood, and Blue.
Okay. Right. So I wanted y'all to say that. You know what I mean? I want people to understand that what was that freshman class, right? The caliber, right? It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, no disrespect to no classes.
None.
No disrespect, but respectfully, those are some lyrics, you know what I'm saying? It was different. It was different. I'll leave it at that. And then you said, and then after that, there was the Honda commercial. Talk about that.
So the Honda commercial was an interesting situation where this was my first time going to LA and getting, a big check and a big opportunity to be in front of a lot of people. So it was more of not just a financial boost for me in that sense, but it was also a great marketing ploy for someone to have landed such a big gig without having a record deal. So a lot of people was looking at me like, how is Mickey Factz doing this without a publicist, without a label, without any big financial backing? He's just able to align himself with so many different brands. This is early on in the game where commercialization wasn't at the forefront of hip hop. If you were ever in a commercial in any type of facet of life in that area, you were looked at as a sellout. And they didn't, because at the end of the day, I felt like our culture wasn't, they felt like it was appropriation for some reason, but they didn't understand that we were trying to move forward in a space where we could be financially set, you know? So that was one of the first instances where I was able to align myself with a huge Fortune 500 company. I got a free company car. I got paid for my music in the commercial. I got paid to be in the commercial. And then I was getting residual checks on music and acting.
Yeah, I love it. And so we already dropped the ball, right? Look,
twice.
Look. Buy my CD twice. See me in the streets and be like, yo, he nice, right? And so he like literally, the bars are going, right? Like you understanding that, certain deals could set you up to be able to monetize your gift, right? And so a lot of the artists who are, talking like, hey, I want to monetize my gift, that's just one way that you were able to monetize it. And then, what was the next big deal after that?
The next big deal after that, I did an exclusive deal with EA Sports, the video game company. So I was able to get a lot of video game placements. They were buying songs, at the end of the day, like music at the time was starting to shift into the streaming era. So the companies that had the big budgets within the entertainment space was the video game publishers and movies and commercials, TV and film. So I decided to align myself with a huge company like EA Sports and give them music on a consistent and constant basis. So that was always very, very big revenue. They purchased a song from me and B.O.B. Called Mind Got Blown. It was on NBA Live 2010. It was the main song in it. They paid us $30,000 just for one song. And me and him, we did that song in an hour.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So for me, I felt like this was a way to kind of infiltrate into getting, and on top of that, you get the marketing of hearing your song in a video game. Right. So when people play the video game, we play 2K all the time, but now you get a chance to hear it every time, and it's like, whoa, who is this artist? So you're expanding your brand to other people while getting paid. That's the way to do it when it's time to get monetized.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate, right? Because not only do you get a check from it, but then, like you said, the repeated plays over and over is now exposing your gift, and then now that opens you up for other opportunities. And the fact of the matter too is, when you think about like the Honda deal, is also signaling to other corporations that, oh, this guy, we could use this guy, we could connect and partner with this guy, to help monetize what we're doing and show light to it. And then talk about that record deal, right? Because I feel like I mean, we're totally in a different space today, right? But I also feel like even today that we're in a different space, even where we have people who have been signed, or time after time we watch people who don't have a record deal are able to build this big following on YouTube, and that's what attracts the record companies to them. But still, I hear new artists always talking about, yo, I want a record deal, I want a record deal, I want a record deal. So talk about that process of getting a record deal, and then also, was it beneficial having a record deal, or was independent the right way? Talk to us a little about that.
Okay, so the process to getting a record deal at that time was interesting. As an artist, that was the finish line. Yeah. Coming up, you wanted to get that deal. You wanted to sign your name on a piece of paper, and it felt like you made it. Yeah. But in reality, that's just you're just now starting. So everything before getting the deal was basically me, jogging and preparation to start the marathon. Yeah. Being that me and my team at the time, we were extremely into wanting to be independent and own. We were very keen on branding. So I wanted to make sure that we were branding. Shout out to GFC New York. We wanted to brand who I was. So when it came time to do the record deal, this was around the 360s. The 360s had just started. And what a 360 deal was, they take a piece of your merchandise, they take a piece of your publishing, they take a piece of any deals that come in. So before
they take touring. Yeah.
So we went into this situation not being able to fall victim to the 360 because I came into the game with a Honda commercial. I came into the game with an EA Sports deal. I came into the game with a Puma deal. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't take any of that. I was already someone who was selling merchandise at a high level. I already had a fan base, so they couldn't come to me with the 360 deal. So getting that deal was just me being very active, always working 24/7 on my social media networks. In 2008, there was no Instagram. It was only MySpace, it was only Facebook, and it was only Twitter. So I utilized those three platforms along with the music blogs to be able to ascend to the place where I'm at. Once we got the deal, it was very beneficial because there are huge marketing dollars that go into an artist to put him into the limelight. When you hear someone on the radio, it's not just because of the talent that they have. There's money that goes into this artist that you hear on the radio on a consistent basis. And I feel like a lot of times, now that we're in a different era where streaming and TikTok and YouTube can offset you being as popular as I was back in that day. So you can be in your own bubble / ecosystem where you don't need to get to a label. But it was beneficial at that time in 2010, 11, and 12 for me to be on a label and be in front of different eyes. They put me on 106 in Park twice. I worked with Marsha Ambrosia. She was on my second single, For the Culture. These things I probably wouldn't have been able to do without the help of the label, and going to different radio stations, doing radio promo tours from New York City to LA down to Miami, being able to interact with different DJs. This was essential for me then, but I feel like the game has changed now where you can still work from your home. You can record in your closet, come out, and then DM someone. If your music is hot, don't just randomly DM a random person. But if you're hot, you can kind of just stay in your own little bubble and be successful in what it is that you do.
Yeah, no, I love it. And then now, if we fast forward a little bit, 2021, if you were presented with a record deal, would you do a record deal or wouldn't you?
Probably not. You know, the past 2 years, I've probably made more money being independent than I did having a record deal.
Wow.
And you know, I signed a pretty big deal in 2010, and I had a Honda commercial. The second one had came out, but I feel like me working on my craft and building my own ecosystem of supporters and being able to use them as a support system for anything that I may need or may need to give them art is better than relying on someone, because the record label is just a big bank,
right?
You know, and they just have the other skills to add to the marketing of the banking that they do. But now I'm able to finance my own things. I'm able to you know, move around in spaces without having to worry about something getting cleared or a rollout plan. If I feel froggy and want to put out a record at any given time, I can do that on my own without the bureaucracies of what a label entails.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hold on, don't press that button, because that's what I do every time I'm looking at an ad that I don't want to see. This ad just happened to be life-changing. I just happen to own one of the biggest home healthcare companies in the state of Georgia. I can help you create your own. Just to give you a little bit of insight, I send out registered nurses, LPNs, and CNAs to take care of people inside of the homes that cannot take care of themselves. But guess what? You don't have to have any medical background, and you don't have to have any medical knowledge. So if you're wanting to change your life and you have a passion for actually taking care of people, then go ahead and sign up for Home Healthcare Blueprint. I'll see you guys later.
No, I love that. And then, so I'm gonna say this for the record, right? So everybody know, if you know me, Hov is my #1 artist of all times, right? On the low though, and it's sad that I gotta say on the low, I put Lupe up there with him though, right? And it's unfortunate that politics and all this other stuff has kind of pushed him out of the shadows in a way where, you know, him being as big as an artist as he was on a mainstream level, like I literally have a playlist with hundreds of Lupe songs that I play over and over again. And so he's a big deal to me, right? And to be able to be on tour, so you've been on tour with Lupe. Yeah. What was that call like? How did that happen? And how does that make you feel to have like one of the greats to kind of like not even just co-sign, because co-sign is like, all right, and I'm out. But it's like, nah, we like get in the car. Like we not co-signing, we actually riding together. Like how does that feel?
Well, you just have to, I believe in manifestation.
Yeah.
And again, me and my company, GFC New York, we were doing a sneaker magazine at the time. It was called Lace Magazine. And Lupe at the time, I'm gonna give you all the full story. Lupe at the time was putting out The Cool. And he had a Fader listening party, and I went to the Fader listening party, and I had to do an interview for him with my magazine company. After the interview, I said, yo, I'm an artist, and one day we're gonna work together. And I know a lot of times artists do that all the time, but you have to put that energy into the atmosphere. 2 years later, we were in Japan together.
Wow.
And I wasn't even buzzing when I told him this. But 2 years later, the first time we ever did anything together, we were in Japan.
Wow.
You know, and that was our first time interacting and just kind of getting cool. Then the Control verse dropped from Kendrick, and me and him kind of, you know, we spoke our piece to Kendrick, and we kind of aligned in that space. And then he was going on tour, and I just asked him, I said, yo, man, I would love to go on this tour with you. It's 45 cities. Yeah. He said, yeah, nigga, come on. Come on. Yeah. And I was like, oh, man, that's crazy. Yeah. So after I bodied the tour, he hit me afterwards and was like, yo, anytime I go on the road, if you want to come, just let me know. Yeah. It doesn't matter where I'm going. If you could get there, pop out. Yeah. So, you know, he just had a show in Alaska 2 days ago. If I went to Alaska, I would have been on stage. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Everything is based around relationships. Yep. And when he said yes, that I could go on tour with him, you know, I had been on tours before, but this is a platinum selling artist. Yeah. Who sells out every show that he does, at least 2,000 people in every city, and it's humbling,
Yeah.
I'm honored
Yeah.
to be able to open up for somebody like that and call him my brother. Like that's my literal brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love him to death,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, no, I love it. And you said something that was vital just now, right? Because, you know, even as I preferenced Lupe, you know, he hasn't been in the mainstream for a very long time, right? Like he you know, intentionally took a role back, but is still on tour, did a 45 city tour, sells out you know, 2,000 to 3,000 people in Alaska, in Japan, all these different places. And so y'all do the math if you kind of understand the money that is available to an artist who doesn't really have to, you know, chase what everybody is doing. You can just literally be yourself and monetize you being yourself. And so, you know, talk about that, like being on tour. You know, how lucrative is being on tour? Like, is it just, all right, now I'm on stage, people know I can spit? Or are there, you know, other ways to monetize while you're on tour?
Okay, so when you go on tour, obviously you have to do a lot of budgeting.
Yeah.
And I learned that from my father. He was a big budgeting guy. He always told me about, you know, utilizing credit as a way to offset spending your money as long as you're responsible with it. So when you go on tour, you have to worry about food costs, you have to worry about lodging costs, and you have to worry about traveling costs. When you get booked to do tours, usually you get paid every single show. So you get your set fee for every show. So let's just say I get $2,000 a show and I'm on a 10-city tour. So obviously that's $20,000 guaranteed money that you're gonna get. Now I have to think about how I'm gonna get to each city, right? So luckily, again, I'm someone who utilizes every relationship that I have. It's not just with music. I have friends that work at Enterprise. I have friends that work at Budget. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, if I need to get a luxury van or whatever, I get the exclusive employee discount.
Yep.
So now I'm saving half of what I would spend. So let's say I would rent it for 12 days. That would usually cost something about $2,000, maybe $2,500, not including gas. I would probably spend about $600 on a big van that can hold all of my merch. Then I would have to have merch, right? The merchandise also can offset as quote unquote per diem, right? So that merch that you spend, that you sell at each show, I like to interact with every fan.
Yeah.
So once I get off the stage, I'm at the merch table. I don't like to go backstage. I don't have someone handling my merch. I like to be able to speak to the people that come to my shows, and I'm able to interact with them. So now it's a personalized situation. It's not just customer seller. Now it's, you know, we have a relationship here. We're having a conversation. We have a dialogue. We're exchanging information. We're exchanging email addresses. We're having direct communication on top of being able to sell what it is, the product that they want. So I'm not only am I getting my flat fee, I'm also getting the merchandise sales. Right now, you got to think about food and lodging. Also, there's a lot of different companies that are out there that you can reach out to that allow artists to be housed in their hotels if you reach out to them at a discount rate. So if you do this, instead of spending $100 or $150 on a hotel, I can spend $50 to $75 on a hotel on an artist discount rate. So these are things that a lot of times artists just don't know and understand, right? And then on top of that, when you're in a city, there are always going to be artists that are trying to get on and trying to be bigger in their sense. So they want to be able to work and do features. So then you be able to charge them to do features. So now you're doubling up on the money on that way. And then sometimes they want to shoot the video right after the show. And it depends on if you're tired enough to do it, or you don't want to do it, or do it early in the morning before you leave to go to the next city. But it's still extra income that you can make while you're there. So that's 3 ways that you can make money on tour, as well as 3 ways you can save money on tour, so you can maximize the possibilities that you can get while you're there.
And not only, right, because, you know, I'm gonna take it a step further. Not only do you maximize immediately, you also monetize later, because now these fans are on your mailing list. So now when you drop a new project, when you got new merch, this is an email list. You now created a funnel for yourself, if you understand that terminology, you've now created a funnel, right? So for those who don't know, a funnel is like, yo, I grab people in the top and the funnel comes down this way. So now you just, grabbed all these people and now you created a funnel where you made some money, immediately. And then you make, you start making, money, through creating that email sequence. And so now, touring, so you still 2021, still making money off of music. Yeah. Talk to us. So, talk about like your financial education background. So, I remember, we connected. I used to sit on the board of the World of Money Fest. Shout out to Sabrina Lamb. And each year I used to go and, teach the kids. And, my guy Mickey came through, was, teaching the kids, dropping some bars. And then, you've been very active in the financial education space with young children. And you even have, a project you're working on. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah. We met because I went on Flex. And I didn't
body that joint. Yeah.
I didn't do what typical rappers do and just brag about money. I tried to give back and talk about credit. Yeah. And that was a defining moment for me because it opened so many doors for me in the Black financial space. Our connection, obviously World of Money, and then Kitty Credit, which is a mobile tracking app to teach kids between the ages of 7 and 12 on how to, utilize credit, but instead of like the 3 power companies that track your credit, they do it through Kitty Credit Bucks. And these, and so it's all about chore tracking. So instead of like, you have to do your chores in order for your credit score to go up. And if you don't do your chores, your credit score drops. But even when you do your chores or you do great in school and you get all of these great things, you can ask for like a video game. But if you keep asking for too many video games or too many things, your credit score drops. The same way it happens, when you're dealing with real credit. So it's a month-to-month basis thing. It's available free on the Apple Store, and it's one of those situations where it's used by parents as well as teachers, and it's imperative that we teach our children about credit because it was something that wasn't taught to our forefathers and the people before us. It was something, people were just kind of running away from credit. But I just love the fact that this generation is embracing, financial literacy. And for me, I always wanted to have this thought process of what can an artist do to live and sustain a living past rap? Yeah. Because we don't have pension plans. Yeah. We don't have 401ks. Yeah. We don't have medical insurance. Yeah. We don't have retirement plans. Yeah. We don't have last will and testaments. We don't have any of these things. Yeah. So we have to set these things in motion. And a lot of times artists just think that we're going to always make this money. Yeah. We're going to always be on the top. We're always going to get $50,000 deals at some point, but it doesn't work like that all the time. Yeah. And I had to learn that the hard way. And once I found out that I can't just rely on this talent, then I had to diversify my portfolio and be able to have money coming in from different ways to take care of myself and my family.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I want to touch on Kitty Credit for a second because I love that concept, right? So because if everybody knows, or if you should know, that your credit is broken down into 5 categories, but the score, you got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But to be able to, from 7 to 12, really kind of model that credit reporting system and showing kids, here, do your chores, and really teaching you about credit at an early age, so that way after the fact, once you get to an older age, you're like, oh, I remember I was doing chores. Now it's a little different. And I love that because majority of people, mess up their credit, or they start learning about credit, in college. And then the first time they introduce to credit is when they get them credit cards, and then they wind up messing it up. And so I love that about the app. But you said something that I wanted to talk about as well, which is, artists, right, not having access to 401ks and pension plans and things of that nature, because now that hip hop is older, there's a lot of some of our legends. Yes. Who have health issues, like rest in peace, Black Rob. Like, we're watching a lot of our legends, go down. Like, they've made such a big contribution to music, but then, might not have, like you said, health insurance even, right? And so, you talk about, diversifying and, doing certain things that can help you as an artist because the money does slow down. So talk about how, some of the ways that you've been like investing your money and creating those multiple streams.
Right, so I want to start off by saying the music industry is the adult version of Disneyland. And what I mean by that is everything is accessible to you. So in excess of drugs, in excess of alcohol, in excess of women or men if you're a woman, and in excess of free things, from clothing to I got a free car at one point. So everything is given to you. Yeah. So on top of everything being given to you, you're getting money.
Yeah.
And you're just, when you're young and you don't have the financial literacy, you start to just spend money and do anything because you have it.
Yeah.
So in 2013, I had $90,000 in the bank. And I lost all of it. I ended the year with $4.14 in the bank, in my bank account. And I tried to get a job in 2014. And I could not get a job because I had no work experience. I had been living off of music since 2007. So we're talking about 6 years now, just living off of music, and now I have no money. It was a very scary place to be. I had some shows lined up, so I had money coming in, but then at that point, that's when I said to myself, what can I do to not be homeless? What can I do to offset when I feel like I'm done with rapping, that I can set myself up? And this is before I was married. And what can I do to be financially set? Yeah. And I started to do research on my own. The first thing I had to do was fix my credit. So I fixed my credit. And that's where the freestyle came from. I started to look into real estate. And I was like, you know what? I need to own something. So, I just recently, I'm in Atlanta now, so I purchased a condo. And, now I'm looking to get a bigger house next year.
And what you gonna do with the condo when you get the bigger house?
Probably gonna keep it.
And do what with it?
And rent it out.
Airbnb, rent it out, yeah.
Whatever I can do to make it more money.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's one of the scenarios that I'm looking to do. So real estate.
Yeah.
Me and my two boys, Aspect and Mr. Good Evening, we got into the stock market during the pandemic. Yeah. And trying to diversify and find great stocks to put money in so that it constantly and continuously grows. I think a lot of people got into the market during the pandemic. It was a great time to learn about it. So that was one way of doing it. Opening up a high yield savings account to put money in that will just grow interest in the money. Also having a pension plan and opening up a HSA for my medical insurance. And also 2 life insurance plans, one for me and one for my wife, to make sure that if I don't want to go through a GoFundMe situation, rest in peace to anybody who has dealt with, issues where they had to do a GoFundMe, but I didn't want that for my legacy. I wanted to be able to have my wife secure if anything would ever happen to me. And it's a very high policy because I want to make sure she's good because I retired her at 30. You know what I mean? So she hasn't worked a day since we've been married. So making sure that I have a retirement plan that's constantly money going into it. So whenever I make money, I cut it in half and act like I only made half of that money, and everything goes into these different pots and different accounts so that the money constantly grows. And doing constant deals and brand ambassading, from Kitty Credit to Brand New Waves. I just recently I'm working on this deal with a kosher restaurant called Toko Grill. They want to name a chicken sandwich after me.
Dope.
So it's these things that allow me to be financially fluid.
Yeah.
And be able to have a chicken sandwich named after me, or do branding with Mr. Good Evening, who does directing and whatever I get a feature, you want to shoot a video, you have to use my director, right? Or you know, my haircuts, I go see my guy J Biz, or if I want to go to a YMCA and talk, you know what I'm saying, I make sure to tell them kitty credit, and let's do a deal with them so that I can get the commission off of something like that. You know, these are different ways outside of music, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be hot forever as musicians. So you have to set yourself up. You know, I'm trying to retire at 45, and I got 6 more years to go.
No, I love that. And then, does it matter if your brand is responsible? Meaning that, you know, if I go to your Instagram, do you have Dracos and AKs? Like, does that mess up the money? Does it help the money? Like you know, somebody who's an artist, you know, might say, "Yo, this is my life. Like I, you know, anything is possible." You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, talk about that a little bit, because we see, you know, rappers who could get deals no matter what their outside persona is, but from a perspective of alignment, how is your brand, how your brand looks outward, how does that affect the money?
I love this question because when I did the Honda deal, I wasn't the only one who auditioned for the Honda deal. It was Busta Rhymes, Q-Tip, Wale, Theophilus London, Cudi. A lot of these artists did it. But I went in there just being myself. I didn't have a chain on. I don't have a chain on now. And I was clean cut, and I was articulate, and I was very authentic as well as practical at the time as an artist. And that was what aligned with the brand of Honda. Because you can depend on people. I know people who have 10 Hondas that has 300, 400,000 miles on it, and it still works. And I'm the same exact way. I've been here for a long time. You can't get rid of me. You know what I mean? And I only get better. So for me, I'm looking at this like, you can't, obviously if you're at a certain level, you can definitely, you know, get the deals that you want to get. But I do my best to not have violence in my stuff. I try my best to not have an obsessive amount of drug use, over obsessive amount of alcohol use. I try my best to be a role model, especially for my son, because I want him to be able to look at my legacy and be like, wow, my father did this. He didn't really curse too much. He didn't really have a bunch of women in his videos. He wasn't really smoking. He may have been drinking here and there, but for the most part, he did things and aligned himself with different brands and different entities that was able to, you know, that was unheard of for someone who didn't have any cosign. To get a Honda commercial, to do this and get a chicken sandwich named after me, and get a Puma deal. To me, like I just look at stuff like that. I don't know if a lot of artists could have done that. You know what I'm saying? Working with museums and aligning myself with Keith Haring, the Keith Haring Foundation. You know, these things were essential to my brand, and I don't know if I would have been able to do that if I wasn't this artistic vanguard kind of, like, look where I'm at. Like, I don't know if I'm the first hip hop artist here, but like, look what I'm rapping about. You know what I'm saying? I'm rapping about finance because I feel like it's important, man. Like us as artists, we need this knowledge.
Absolutely. No, I love it. I love it. Take me back, right, with everything you've been through, all of the experiences you have. Take me back to 18-year-old Mickey Factz. What advice are you giving him?
I'm giving him the advice of don't spend money on clothes.
Okay.
Because when you get older, the clothes that you wear, you know, first of all, it depreciates. Well, unless you hold on to it for years and years, and then the trend comes back around. But for the most part, don't spend so much money on clothes because you're gonna be an artist and people are gonna give you clothes for free. Right. So I spent a lot of money on clothes in 2000, 2001, 2002. I was on that Dior wave, then Prada, all of that. And I wasted a lot of money. I was working at a law firm at the time, and every time I got a check, after paying my bills, first thing I'm doing is buying some gear so I could be fly. Yeah. And that was a very dumb decision to do. And I went and got a Bloomingdale's card, and just bugging out, you know. So that I would tell myself not to spend so much money on clothing.
And one of the things, I mean, you mentioned earlier about having merch, you know. I think that for anybody who wants to make money and brand themselves, I think the best thing is to like wear your own merch. You know what I'm saying? ashcashmerch.com, right? So like if you are always on camera, if you're an artist, like you moving around, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that will always be with you. People are always not gonna see you. Like fast shout out to the Earn Your Leisure fam, right? My brothers always have asset liability on, right? They, you know what I'm saying? Like they could always, you know, wear anything they want. But anytime you see them on camera, asset over liability. So I think that's another thing is that, you know, to that point, right? Like back then, it wasn't as easy, right? Because back then, like you had to know the African plug, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's what, I mean, it's just what it was. You had to know the African plug, you had to know the person who do the embroidery and all that to get your own brand. Now, literally, you could create your own brand in like minutes, you know what I'm saying? Pay $5, $10 on Fiverr for a design and then, you know what I mean, you know, go to some type of, you know, print on demand spot and kind of do it that way. So I love it. All right, so let's get into some of your business a little bit. You know, when you know, a lot of times when we talk to people who are like highly successful, you know, kind of want to know what, you know, what they do with their money, right? And so when you think about, you know, your journey so far, what would you say is the most extravagant thing you've done with money so far?
The most extravagant thing that I've done with money, now when you say extravagant, you mean just like ridiculous?
Oh, I mean, whatever that means to you, right? Because, you know, we had a few people who have done, you know, they travel or they've bought a Wraith or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's different levels, you know? And it's really, like, we had somebody who was, you know, multi-millionaire who was like, yo, I really don't spend no, you know what I'm saying, no money. So really is what, you know, what that means to you?
I'm not a multi-millionaire, but I really don't be trying to spend too much money. Yeah. I mean, I think when I was younger, I think the most extravagant thing that I was doing, I ain't gonna hold you, I was tricking, man. I was tricking, man. Listen, because it was, listen, if you got it and you're at a certain level in the game as a hip hop artist, you're accessible to beautiful women. And at that time, before I was married, I was just into, you know, dating a lot. Yeah. So let's go to this restaurant that ain't got no price on the menu. Let's go eat at the Guggenheim. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the top of the Empire State Building and rent this joint out and it just be me and you here. Like I was doing crazy stuff like that because it was all about, the end goal was always the honey, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's about it. I mean, I went to Miami and I had the Ferrari and the Lambo, you know, out there. But aside from stuff like that, nah, I was just trying to impress the honeys. Like that was my thing. Yeah, okay. Once I got married, I kind of matured out and was like, I gotta relax. Right. But yeah, I think, I mean, you know, I mean, when I had a 3-story house in Jersey, and when I did that song for EA Sports and I sold it for $30,000. You know, I had my manager staying with me and my A&R staying with me. So I guess they was out for the day. I went to the bank and I took out mad bread and they cuts. Whatever they cut was, I think one of the guys cut was like 5,000. Another guy cut was like 8,000. So I just spelled their names out in hundreds on their bed, like, yo, we did it. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. I like to do creative stuff. I don't like to really wild out. You know what I'm saying? I got some 101 Keith Haring paintings in the crib and stuff like that. But aside from that, like I'm not, you know, I ain't got no chains. I never was into jewelry. This stuff is what my wife bought me. That's not really my thing. So.
No, I love it. And so what would you say is the most impactful thing you've done with money so far?
Life insurance for myself. Yeah. That was the most impactful thing because, like I said, I retired my wife at 30. Yeah. And because she hasn't worked, I don't want her to have that scenario where I lost $90,000. So now, you know, whatever, if something ever happened to me, she's super straight. She's a millionaire if something ever happened to me. So I think that's the most impactful thing that I've ever done with money, to make sure my wife and my son are taken care of for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, no, I love it, love it, love it. I know that right now somebody's watching who probably has a job, has a 9-to-5, and they're looking to, they have that itch. They want to become an artist. They want to, monetize their music. They don't know how. What advice would you give to that person who's currently working, who wants to, be an artist and make money from their art?
You got to be dead serious about this thing.
Yeah.
And make sure you align yourself with people that believe in your craft. Get a manager that believes in you. Get a producer that can craft your sound. Get a stylist that can make sure you dress and good. Get a photographer to make sure your videos and your photos are great. Invest in a publicist, invest in some marketing dollars. You have to reinvest in yourself. You have to know that the first 2 years you're not gonna make any money. And as long as you understand that and you go hard, you should be okay. I quit my job in 2007, January 17th. And that was my last day working. I had $10,000 saved, and it wasn't enough. At that time, it just wasn't enough money. I made it stretch until like August, September. But from that point forward, I had to depend on the people who believed in me.
Yeah.
So I slept on a lot of floors. I slept on a lot of futons. I slept on a lot of couches. I would go, being from New York, Sunday through Thursday, that's industry night.
Yeah.
So I would go to these industry parties and eat for the first time at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Free food. But during the day, I'm at MTV, I'm at the labels, I'm doing ciphers, I'm doing this. But when I go to that event, I'm not going to network, even though I am, but I'm going to actually eat and drink. So I had to sacrifice all of that to get where I am today. It's a very long journey. And I feel like a lot of times people want to skip these steps, but you have to always just go hard in whatever it is that you do. I know so many entrepreneurs and so many people who took that leap of faith, but they were dead serious about what they wanted to do. They knew that they can't slack. Every day, every minute, every DM, every message, every comment means something. It is a potential business transaction. You have to treat it as such, because we don't have the dependency of a paycheck. Like I can't, when the first come around, I'm not gonna get a check. When the 15th comes, I'm not gonna get a check. On the end of every Friday, I ain't gonna get no check. So I gotta put that extra work in to make sure that money is constantly coming in. So, my advice to the workers, make sure you're dead serious about this, because it ain't as easy as it looks. I obviously, I'm dealing with something, musically right now, with Royce the 5'9", and my phone is on fire. I went to bed at 5. I had to be here at 10. So that gave me 3 hours of sleep. And I was still able to be professional, be here on time, give you bars, and conduct a professional interview. I feel like that is a part of the life, and you have to be dead serious about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And then so, an entrepreneur right now, or artist, right, who's at that space, they took the leap of faith, and they just don't know what to do, man. They believe in themselves. They're waking up. They're on the grind, but they just can't figure it out. What advice you have for them to kind of get to that next level where they're monetizing their gift?
Definitely creating a space for your support system. You have to be able to collect data. I know guys that have less followers than me, but a ton of money because they were able to collect data. If you have 100 fans, those are people that will support you. It doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers. You have 1 million. I know a person who had 1 million followers that asked me for money last year during the pandemic. Can I borrow $1,000? 1 million followers. So it's not about the followers. It's about utilizing the data to be able to create revenue for yourself on a consistent and constant basis. You have to reinvest in yourself. I spend about $300-400 on marketing every single month. And I know a lot of guys that do, yourself, Neo, I be seeing the commercials. I know that, you guys I know why you guys are doing it, because you have to spend money to make money.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it comes back 100-fold.
Absolutely.
You know, you put it out into the sea, it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people try to skip over. They want to just make the money instead of spending the money to make the money.
Yeah.
You got to take the risks.
Yeah. Yeah.
No risk, no reward.
Absolutely. And the truth of the matter, though, is the more you believe in yourself, and you watch the data, the more accurate, the less of a risk it is, to be honest with you, right? So if I got 100 followers, but I know my 100 followers they love my music, they love what I'm doing, and I could put them in a continuity program where they're paying me $100 a month. You know what I mean? That's wait, that's not even $1,000. Was that $10,000, right? Yeah. That's $10,000 a month. So even if I'm able to get 100 people to pay me $100 a month, that's $10,000 a month that you could be killing off of, compared to that guy who has or the girl who has 1 million followers who's like, yo, let me borrow $1,000, right? Because they're not organized. They don't know who's following them, why they're following them. You know, in the words of you know the great Pusha T, do you want to be more famous than rich, right? Like, you got to be able to understand that part. So I love that. All right, so let's go into our speed round, lightning round, where I take terms and I flip them. Yeah. Oh, we flip them, and then to make a match. So the first word we're gonna say is deposit slip, right? And so a deposit slip, you go into the bank, you put, you fill it out, you put money in the bank. But for us, deposit slip inside the vault is when, is a slip up, is a money mistake, right? And so far, what has been your biggest deposit slip?
My biggest money mistake, not selling this penny stock that I had.
Yeah.
I had this penny stock. Me and my boys, we had this penny stock that did really well. Yeah. Like, we talking a lot of money. Yeah. And niggas thought it was gonna keep going up past 4 cents or past a nickel or whatever. That shit dropped all the way below a penny.
Wow.
And we had a lot of money. Like, we had a lot of money that we made, and we were new to it, so we lost money that we couldn't grab.
That you couldn't realize.
That was a big money mistake.
Yeah. And that's a good kind of indication, for a lot of people who are just getting into the game. You really got to study and really got to understand the mechanics, right? Because even when we think about GameStop and we think about all these Bitcoin, all these different plays that people are jumping into, you got to be able to watch it and understand, all right, Dogecoin, all that. You got to know, when to go in, when to go out, things of that nature. I love that. Number 2 is charge off, right? This is a money mindset show. And so, when we think about charge off, you borrow money from a bank, you don't pay the money back, and then, you get charged off. But for us here inside the vault, what kind of mindset did you have to charge off on your journey?
I had to charge off spending money using a debit card.
Okay, elaborate.
I don't use a debit card anymore. And shout out to David Shands.
Yeah.
Why am I spending money with a debit card when I could use my credit card, still be financially responsible, and get free money back?
Big bar. Yeah.
It's a big bar.
Absolutely.
The cash back is they giving you free money to use their money. It's all about the perks.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pay the card off anyway because the money's in the debit account.
Right.
So that was a very big. This was something new that I learned about 2 weeks ago, and I was a little nervous about doing it. Like, damn, I'm not gonna use a debit card, but it's still the same money, and I'm still responsible, and I'm still paying off the bill.
Absolutely.
So I don't use a debit card anymore.
No, I love that.
And that works. That's like a double entendre because it's still a charge off.
Yeah. Hey, that's a bar. That's a bar. All right, last one, trust account, right? So a trust account is where you take your assets, you put it in a trust account, allow it to grow and grow and grow. What's the mindset that you're holding on to, the mindset that's going to help you grow, that mindset that is in your trust account?
I would say me trying to retire at 45. you know, I think everybody got a number in their head.
Yeah.
You know, you got a number in your head, your crew, my people's. We all got a number in our head. I got a number in my head, and I feel like I'm gonna hit that number in the next 6 years.
Love it, yeah.
And that's what's keeping me going.
Yeah.
You know, hitting this number, it doesn't have to be liquid cash either.
Yeah.
It could just be overall assets that you have,
For sure.
whether it's property, life insurance added onto it, whatever you have in different accounts, money market accounts. So once I hit that number, I think I'm gonna be okay.
All right, dope.
You know what I mean?
Dope. All right, y'all. Yo, listen, if y'all wasn't taking notes, if y'all, you know, everybody, I know somebody knows an artist in their life, somebody who wants to make some bread. If somebody wanted to connect with you, if they want to get some more of those bars, where can they find you?
Yo, man, hit me up on Instagram, Mickey.Factz, MICKEY.FACTZ. Also, hit me up on Twitter.com/MickeyFactz. and Facebook.com/official Mickey Factz. Also, subscribe to my website, MickeyFactz.com, for all updates and news pertaining to Mickey Factz.
All right, y'all. Hey, yo, if you wasn't paying attention, it's not your fault. We closing out the Inside the Vault, the greatest mindset, money show on earth with my guy, Mickey Factz. And that's it. That's all I got. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for following us, for tapping in, tuning in. Make sure you follow us at Inside the Vault on all platforms. Follow me at I am Ash Cash. And I'm going to see y'all next time, same place. Inside the Vault, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Till next time, in God's will. Peace.
Oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the ball.